Hi, I'm Jason Bryan from the Short-Time Wrestling Podcast and founder of the Mat Talk Podcast Network. Shows on the network are individually owned and operated, and those opinions presented and expressed may not reflect others, the sponsors, patrons, or the parent network. Find more shows about the greatest sport in the world at the Mat Talk Podcast Network at mattalkonline.com.
The mind of Pat Popolizio is a wondrous thing. And for you Pack Wrestling fans, you'll get to go inside the mind of the Skip each and every episode here on the Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. Now, here's your host, NC State Director of Athletics Digital Communications, Brian Reinhardt.
Wolfpack fans, welcome to a brand new episode of the Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. Episode number 97, year number 5. Pat, we're rolling here. The machine keeps going.
The machine is going. It's on and charged.
Exciting times for you. I mean, guys are all back.
It's it's been full swing. Preseason week 3 is underway, and it's been weather starting to break here a little bit. Lots going on in Raleigh.
Preseason's great. I made it out there twice. You told me the wrong location once, but we got it squared away again.
You've had things too well, and you needed a little adversity, and I had to throw that at you. I want to see how you responded, and it was not great.
Then we crushed I came back the next week, crushed some coverage, but your guys getting out in the weight room, getting on the track, getting in the stadium, just a wide variety of workouts right now. Yeah,
preseason is a little hectic. It's a little challenging. It's the hardest probably 6 weeks that our guys will encounter. So it was good to see them in full swing after a nice summer session and the training that went on here. And it's full force.
You let us release the schedule this week. Thank you, first of all.
Don't put that on me. The amount of emails, texts, calls, you name it. But I think everyone now understands the process to releasing our schedule. We're in a waiting pattern. We call that, right, Brian?
I hope so. I mean, I live by if you're not first, you're last. Unfortunately, we were dead last in the ACC getting it out. But holy moly, it's out.
It's out. It's ready to roll.
Fans are excited. Season tickets are on sale. Fans, go to gopack.com. Buy a season ticket.
Yeah, we've already gotten good response on our season tickets. And, our schedule is going to be competitive and some good events at home. Obviously, hosting the ACCs is big.
You're jumping way down.
I know. Well, I'll let you get to it. All right. So you didn't have your notes out.
I have no notes. Going off memory here. I'm playing on my phone as we're talking.
That's how good you are.
But so Wednesday, big recruiting weekend. Can't talk about recruits. Actually, you guys are having recruits in every weekend now. So
it's been good. Yeah, the timing of what's been going on and events surrounding Raleigh have made it for a good weekend for what we were doing. And, the atmosphere at the football game was phenomenal, and just our fans always show up and make it exciting for people to be around. And it was a no-brainer. That was a great game, too, by the way. The NC State football team's looking really good, Brian.
They're all great games. Football is rolling right now. Yeah, Carter Finley gets some great crowds.
Yeah.
Those recruits have loved to go over there in that environment.
And especially now we're getting some night games, so we're not sitting out there in 100-degree weather. That feels good.
Get in a workout before the games.
I did.
Okay. Still, where are we standing with recruiting? We know 23 kids signed in November, but you guys are kind of focused on 24s right now?
Yeah. We're basically 2 years out a lot of the times. I mean, the luxury of the rules with the NCAA and the recruiting things we are allowed to do gives us a lot of time to get in front of things and really search kids that fit our culture. And that's been very beneficial. I think that's one thing that's made us unique and different is we were able to really build a relationship and make sure the kids we bring in model what we're looking for. And our staff has done a phenomenal job doing that. So we want to continue to go down that route and bring in the kids that we know are going to produce and also graduate here. And a lot of them are doing it in 3 years and leaving with their master. So it's been very successful for us the last last couple of years graduating guys and placing them, and basically them placing themselves in a good situation to start their careers.
But recruiting comes down to your current guys too. They're hosting these guys, they're talking to these recruits probably more than the coaches are. So your current guys play a very important role.
Huge role. And that's, that goes back to culture, and those guys, they know what we're looking for. They went through it as well. And that's part of the deal when you sign up to be here at NC State. You're all in to be a team player, and these guys done a phenomenal job. It was a rock star weekend for certain guys hosting. They laid out the red carpet. So
naming names. Who's some good hosts on your team?
Well, I think Troy's 1 for 1 right now, so he's doing really well. Chase Horn got to step his game up a little bit, but he's been doing a phenomenal job. Jackson as well. That whole crew in there, that freshman group, they've been really doing a lot of legwork for us. So we are thankful to have them and appreciate their hard work and
kind
commitment.
of broke the scoop here. You might have got a recent commitment, I think, huh? Well, can't say who it is, comment, but obviously,
but yeah, okay. we're sitting good at start off that class. Let's just say that.
Just retweeted something, so yeah, we got it. But, I know I got to quit playing around. No, it's great. A lot of, NC State has so much momentum right now. As you mentioned, we're going to go over the schedule a little bit, but obviously I think everybody's highlight, Reynolds Coliseum, early March. The ACC championship is coming back for the second time in the last 3 years, but especially better this time. Fans are able to be in the building. It's a big year. ACC, it only gets better each and every year, and there's no doubt that every team could win this thing right now.
Yeah, I think when you look at the level this conference is kind of grown to be, it's extremely competitive, and that tournament, every match matters when you get in there, and we're just thankful we're able to host it again, and like you said, have a crowd in there, because we know we get a really good following now, and that's a great atmosphere when you're able to do that.
Do you guys like hosting, or you like being on the road?
I think it's nice to be in Reynolds. I think that energy adds a lot, and it's exciting. So it gives us another. I think with the way the schedule worked out, it gives us another really important date for people to show up and see some really good high level wrestling.
Something we're going to lead off with. We don't have a time or a location yet, but we promise they're going down. Wrestle-offs.
Yes.
I think this year going to be a big deal. There's a lot of competition, so this is going to be an event. It's not technically a home duel, but it might be a big crowd to see some of these wrestle-offs this year.
Yeah, I think people are going to want to come out and see, showcase some of the freshmen that we have and some of the weights that are up for grabs. It's going to be pretty competitive, and we have that Friday, October 28th.
Yes, Friday, right? October 28th. Definitely wrestle-offs on that day.
Yeah, they'll be somewhere here on
somewhere
campus.
Here at some time.
Probably later in the day, but we'll try to make that a nice event and a little bit of a meet and greet with some new guys and do some activities around that. But we expect it to be something where guys can showcase their skills.
Yeah, I was going to say that's something we're going to be charged with this year. 17 new faces. A lot of these guys are compete. We're going to have to get these guys out a little bit more. Let Wolfpack Nation know who all your newcomers are.
Yeah, a lot of new faces, and I don't think it's going to take long to know who some of these freshmen are, because you're going to see them in the lineup pretty quick. And with the new rules, you can wrestle certain guys in dual meets, and we expect to utilize that as much as we can. One, just because we're going to be at an advantage when we do that, but also to gain some valuable experience for next year for a lot of these guys that probably are going to be right in the lineup after a redshirt year too.
Diving right in the schedule, you haven't had a home duel this early for a while, and in-state opponent, you guys face this team every year, and man, it's tough competition to start off with because App State has really improved. They keep winning championships over there in Boone, some great individuals. But App State coming to Reynolds, what was the thinking of that's the first event of the year?
Yeah, it just worked out, I think, with scheduling and what we had on the calendar. And bringing them in is always, you're going to get a really competitive group of guys coming from App State. And that's always an in-state dual meet that brings a lot of good intensity. And their guys are always up for that challenge, and I know they are. So it's one, I think it makes both programs better, and we're always excited to compete in state, and they got a great fan base as well. So I think it's going to be a good crowd in Reynolds to start off our dual season.
Yeah, it was a little rowdy last year in Boone. Great crowd. Obviously, 149 for them. Millier was an All-American, so it'd be interesting to see that matchup right off the bat. But everybody keeps asking me, and I don't know why, because I didn't like the event. Where's the Wolfpack Club Open?
Wolfpack Club Open. That's a great question, Brian. That's one thing we try to do is evolve with our schedule, and it just the way things were with getting a facility and just the backing behind it, and then the timing of needing some more competitive duels. It just worked out that those dates fell into play to go up and compete against Nebraska instead. So we're going to pass this year and make that move to go wrestle Nebraska. It basically came down to, do we want to wrestle a high-level duel on the road, or do we do the open tournament here? And I just think it was time for a change in our schedule. We've been doing the same thing the last several years, so we're going to try something new.
I will not miss the Open if those people are asking, but
I don't think a lot of people will.
In all seriousness, though, freshmen couldn't wrestle in that anyway unless they used one of their 5 dates. So that obviously had to be a consideration.
Yeah, I mean, that plays into it because we're probably going to, the next day, there'll be a round robin up there, and we'll probably take a lot of those guys and compete in that and get them a competition where they can get probably 3 matches in. So, yeah, that was part of it. And I just think the change of needing that high-level competition was more important than having these matches right here.
And obviously, you mentioned it up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
It's going to be sold out, I would imagine.
Not going to say where that's near. I mean, I think some Wolfpack fans will be invited, but you guys got, obviously you said Nebraska. You guys had some great home and homes with them over the years. Nebraska's tough. That's going to be a great matchup. Lock Haven's really come on as a program too, and I think you guys are scheduled to get them up there too.
Yep.
So you got Lock Haven, Nebraska, then the next day round robins. So it's going to be a huge weekend for the Wolfpack. Then even the next weekend, back out on the road. Which is Albany. Where's Albany?
Come on.
I know.
That's my backyard.
I know.
A lot of guys' backyard.
You took me a tour on your backyard one time. I was like, wow.
You liked it.
Central Michigan and Illinois. Obviously, some great programs, too, that you don't necessarily get home and home with. So you're going neutral site and new competition. Yeah.
And again, you get a chance to wrestle some non-conference teams that are going to be competitive and have a good history. That's what we were looking for. We tried really hard to get some of these at home. It just didn't work, and hopefully we will, down the road, be able to do that. It's a challenge to, when you look at everyone's schedule, trying to coordinate dates and getting teams here. So fortunately, we found a way to make sure our guys get what they need. Obviously, the fans might not be able to see it right in Reynolds or somewhere close to here, so they'll be able to at least watch it online and see some high-level wrestling. So, yeah, that was important for us, is to find some really good, tough competition early, and I think we hit that with the schedule this year.
And that's right. No matter, these Wolfpack might be going on the road, but everything will be streamed. We're obviously pushing out where this stuff will be streamed, so you're going to be getting to watch all these duels, so don't worry, Wolfpack fans.
Won't miss a beat.
I just got to be careful where I direct fans to do that, too, because people get mad at me sometimes.
That's all right.
Frank,
no rules, Reinhardt.
Back out to Vegas, Cliff Keen. Very impressive list of teams that are going out there this year. But then again, Cliff Keen is one of the top tournaments every year. You guys didn't go last year. Important to go back to a tournament in season this year?
Yeah, and again, for individuals, we know we had to get some tougher schedules for the guys, and I think that tournament will, no matter what we're doing there, if you're winning, you're going to hit some high-level guys. So that'll check the box for the individuals, and the dual meets will check the box for our team. And we know this year, going into NCAAs, our guys are going to see some high-level competition all the way through the year, and that's what we were looking to accomplish with our schedule. And when you have a younger team like we do, we figured we needed to do this kind of scheduling, and Vegas will be be mix and match with our lineup to see who needs some of these high-level tournaments. And we're fortunate enough to have some depth, so we'll play around with our lineup, and that's going to be a tournament where you might see some new faces in there going out to compete, and have some guys make some runs at bringing home a championship there.
I know it's a little different, a guy like Trent's match number totals to a freshman, but is there a goal of matches this year you're trying to get to? We're
probably trying to find that 25 to 30 range. That's depending how many years the guy's been here. But I think on average, that's what we're looking to be at.
End of December, back at the Collegiate Wrestling Duels. Great event last year. Everyone still talks about that Iowa duel. Don't have the schedules out yet, but we're pretty sure it is Cal Poly and Lehigh, I believe. I think
the whole goal was to be in play to not wrestle a team that you saw during the year. So on paper, looking at who's in the pools, I mean, I would imagine that's how things are going to probably play out, and then have the opportunity to compete against another really good team.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 duels down there. So Cal Poly, Lehigh, and then Ohio State or UNI or Lock Haven, one of those programs. So 3 great duels right there.
Yeah, and I think since we see 2 of them, I think it falls into play what our pool would look like, and hopefully we have a chance to advance and wrestle another high-level team. But we got to, again, we're going to see across the board 2 good teams and a lot of good individuals trying to get to where we need to be. So that was the whole point. And I think that weekend really solidifies a tough schedule for us, that closing out that semester basically, and to make our run into the conference duels and things like that. Our guys should have seen enough tough competition to be ready for anything.
Are you taking the bus yet again?
It's a little too far. It's out of reach for the bus, so you're going to miss out on that ride, Brian.
Man, that overnight bus, memories. But then, so we're turning the calendar. January, you guys start back-to-back the first 2 weekends of January. Any concern or feel you're basically gone for 2 months without any action in Reynolds?
Yeah, it's tough, but again, it goes back to who you can get here and what fits in for everyone's schedule, and just the way things played out. So hopefully we get some good momentum going in the winter time here, and fans can roll in starting in January and make those ACC duels pretty packed.
And every Friday night in Reynolds, that's when we're doing all our home duels on the second semester. So great. Book your calendars already, 7 o'clock Friday night when we're at home. But familiar name, Binghamton's coming back down to Raleigh. Definitely some high-level talent with some of their guys. And a new team on your schedule, Army. I know you have a great working relationship and actually have kind of cross-trained with Army a little bit this year down here. But 2, really good programs to get going right before the ACC there.
Yeah, I mean, spent a lot of time at Binghamton, so I know that those guys are excited to come down here and compete with us, and they do. They got a lot of good individuals, and they've been building their team up. So that'll be nice to have in Reynolds. And yeah, Army, we know they have a really good following here in North Carolina with all the military bases, and a lot of their alumni are down here. So that'll be a big night for our program, doing military appreciation night with an academy like that. So we figured it was a win-win for them, and obviously we get to see some competition that we don't typically wrestle through the year. And we did. We got to spend about 10 days with them in our room training, and we know they got a lot of really good, tough guys. So that's another good duel for us to have right in Reynolds, and there'll be some good wrestling that night for sure.
ACC action, home duels, Duke and Pitt, road duels, Virginia Tech, Virginia, UNC. We mentioned it, ACC is changing every year. The rotation is different. Starting off with Virginia Tech this year.
Yeah, that's how you want to start the ACC dual competition. Started with a bang, a lot of good intensity there, and I know they're going to have a packed gym, and I hope our fans travel well for that as we're going to need it and get their support in Blacksburg. But that'll be a firework duel for sure, as they have a very good competitive team with a lot of guys back. So that's one probably a lot of people will circle on their calendar. And
I think a lot of people in the NCAA circle that one.
Yeah, and that's what you want with college wrestling. 2 teams that bring their A game every time that they're going to match up, and it brings out the best in both teams, and it will be fireworks there, and a tough environment to go to. But I think those are the kind of matches that get you more ready than anything for the end of the year, and that's one that I think a lot of people will be watching.
And then you alternate road and away. You're home against Duke, at UVA, home against Pitt, at North Carolina, and every school in this conference has just gotten better each and every year. ACC duels, everybody talks about them, how exciting they are. Rock coming down to visit here in a little while. Rock Harrison with the great call. The ACC network with the great coverage. Nothing beats a Friday night duel.
No, and I think we've done a really good job marketing that as a conference, and every program having a product to put out on the mat, I think has helped as well. So yeah, the Friday night duels, the viewership's growing, and then, the guys in each team done a great job promoting, and same with our commentators. So this league's really taken off, and Friday nights are exciting for sure. And we're going to be a part of a lot of them.
It's going to be great to see. Great to sit in the stands. I say again, Wolfpack fans, buy those season tickets now. We've sold a lot already, which is very exciting. Mentioned the ACC Championship, one-day event, inside Reynolds all day. Going for NC State, will be going for a 5th straight title. Going to be competitive as all heck for that day. Wrapping it up, NCAA action, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've not been to Tulsa, Oklahoma for wrestling. I'm not sure when the NCAA was there last time. Doesn't matter where this tournament is. Fantastic event. Obviously the goal, you want all 10 guys there. You want everybody seated, perform well. The NCAA, that's what you guys are working for right now in this preseason.
Yeah, I think, that's the goal with our sport, is to be at your best come those 3 days. And that's what the buildup of our schedule is to prepare guys for that one weekend. And it's a build-up for sure as the season goes on for individuals and as teams. But that's going to be a great spot for the NCAA tournament. Obviously, in Oklahoma, they have a pretty big following there for wrestling. So, it's always going to be sold out and good energy. And going back to close to my old stomping grounds there. Yeah. We'll have to get you a pair of cowboy boots.
Spent a couple of years there.
You look good in some boots, Brian.
I never worn cowboy boots.
Yeah, you look good. Those little skinny legs.
Do you have a belt buckle?
We'll get you some Wranglers. Get you a hat.
More of a khaki guy right now.
Yeah, they look good. Khakis and boots go together.
It's great catching up. What else? I tell you what.
Are we going to do an announcement on this yet?
Yeah, I did promise some groundbreaking news.
Very sad. We're going to end this on a sad note.
Yeah, it's not a sad note. Kind of bittersweet. I will say it's not an end for the Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast, but a great new beginning. I'm looking forward to what's coming, but this will be my last podcast. Brian Reinhardt, NC State Director of Athletics Digital Communications, decided to leave NC State and move on. Actually doing this on my final day of work, so NC State is getting all their money's worth out of me.
Yeah, you're announcing your retirement.
I am announcing my retirement.
I'm jealous that you're only. Well, we won't give your age out, but not even 40 yet.
I'm younger than you.
Yeah, not even 40 yet, and retiring and living the life. So you're going to be well missed by a lot of people. I think the wrestling community is going to miss out a little bit, but we understand the decisions you got to make, and hopefully we'll be able to see you at some duels, Brian.
I will stay hidden in the upper deck, but I definitely want to watch. But I will say too, I think on a personal note, wrestling, your guys, being around them, working with the staff is probably the reason I've stuck around for the last 3 or 4 years. I've really enjoyed working with wrestling. I'm greatly going to miss that aspect of it. And just the stuff where we were able to do, take great pride in the content that we've been able to produce, and really think the fans have appreciated some of our efforts over the years.
No question. It's going to be some big shoes to fill. But I'm sure a lot of people will be happy they don't have to hear your sarcasm on this podcast.
Absolutely. I can't. So I will tell our fans, my first pitch was to have Pat host this podcast by himself and just talk for a half hour.
We would be talking quite a bit.
So Pat nixed that in about a second, and my shoes will be filled. He might not be as tall as me, but Hayden Hidley will be stepping up. He will be the voice of the Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. I think he has the perfect face for podcasting.
He had a big smile on his face knowing that he was going to take your seat. And I'm excited to see some of the content that he brings to the table.
I'm very excited to see what Hayden can bring, because he's
pretty analytical. So I think he's going to have some good ideas, and he knows he's got big shoes to fill, but I think he's up for the challenge.
And that's the biggest thing. We want this podcast to keep going. We love our listeners. Hayden has already asked me how he can get advertising on here. So if you want to advertise,
we got to pay the bills, Brian. And apparently you weren't getting the job done. So we have to
find a way to. Hayden's already thinking about how to make money on here. I've been doing this podcast 97 episodes.
There's a reason he was a business major.
But no, Hayden's going to take over. Hayden will be an absolutely great host. Told him the goal. our fans love getting to know our guys on the podcast, first and foremost. And we want to bring those personalities to you. And it helps fans know who's wrestling out there sometimes. So Wolfpack fans, can't say when Pat and Hayden are going to do a next episode because I am logging off. I'm never around again, but new podcast host. It's kind of sad. This was my baby.
It's coming. We almost made it to 100 episodes with you.
Do you know the great part is I didn't even tell anybody we were doing this. I just started it and said, hey, we're doing a podcast. We just rolled with this.
It's been good.
So it's fabulous.
We'll have to bring you back as a guest here at some point.
I think that would be great. But looking forward to seeing what's next, especially with NC State Wrestling. I mean, there's a lot of momentum with the program, not just content-wise, but what you guys are doing on the mat. So I look forward to sitting in the stands. I will say it depends what kind of beer they're serving. Might have a beer during a match. That could be kind of fun.
We'll be rowdy at some of these duels. You get thrown out.
But Pat, thank you for everything over the years. Obviously, you've helped me tremendously. I still stay in contact with a lot of your staff. And for a guy that knew zero about wrestling, I feel like I've learned a lot from you guys. So thank you guys for making my job a lot easier, too.
We appreciate you and wish you all the best.
So Wolfpack fans, that's Brian Reinhardt. He is signing off in third person. The podcast has been fun, but I look forward. Hayden Hiley is going to crush this podcast. So we look forward to the next episode, but want to thank everybody for listening today. This is your Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast covering all things NC State wrestling. Until next time, Wolfpack fans, go Pack.
Mentality Pop-Ins podcast is produced by the Mat Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, go to mattalkonline.com.